Hi guys, happy Friday. So glad we could be together again. Sorry I'm not showing myself this week. Bad hair day. I've been having a bunch of them because I'm letting my hair grow out, but I want to get a certain haircut, so I got to do it. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about making jewelry, and boy do I have something pretty this week. I'm so proud of it because it's easy to make, nothing to it, and it's going to look real showy when you're done. And I'm calling it Western Rose. And here's what I use to show you. The earrings look like this that we're going to talk about today. Can you go up close? And we're using this part and this part to make it. Okay, they're from Visa Boutiques, and they're in silverware silver plate, which is our premium silver finish over brass. It's 99% fine silver over brass. It's almost like solid silver over the brass, so it's really, really awesome. Anyway, so we're going to make earrings out of that, and then we're going to make a really pretty bracelet. I've been wearing this all morning. It's so comfortable, you won't believe it. And we're making a really pretty bracelet, and we're going to use this part, which is a brass stamping. To do it, you might say, well, how am I going to do that? It's open back. Well, just you wait and see. So anyway, this looks like kind of like enamel, doesn't it? A little bit kind of like it's been enameled with the color behind it. But what it is it's epoxy sculpt. We haven't talked about epoxy sculpt for a little while, but epoxy sculpt is there's just a world of possibilities with it. So I'm going to show you how you lay the epoxy sculpt down and press the rosette into it, because that's the main part of this whole thing. Believe me, you know how to do everything else. I will give you measurements though, okay? And everything that you need to make this design is at visaboutiques.com. We'll step out some links for you. So when you go to the description right under the video, you'll see it starts there and it says show more. Click on show more, because all the links will just drop down for you. They're all live. Just click on them and you'll go to it, okay? So anyway, let's get started. So first of all, let's start with the earring. The earring, I kind of wanted to do a mixed metals thing. I don't know if I do it this way next time. I don't know. Sometimes I kind of think brass ox gives a little more depth to the stuff. I like the brass ox and silverware together. But if you don't worry about it. You'll just need to get yourself a little bezel with 2 loops on it in silver, which we have them, so that's good. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I started out, and all you need is just a little bit. You won't believe how little you need. I betcha I can do it with this much. That's probably too much. I'm going to take a little bit more off of it. So when I'm done with it, I have maybe the equivalent of an 8mm bead, maybe in size, something like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to take it. I make it real nice and round. Try to get any, seam marks or fingerprint marks out of it as much as possible. And then I'm just going to take it and put it in the middle and just start to press down from the middle going out. You can see I can brush it to the side with my thumb. Just push it out like that. So just smush it all down. Just kind of get it in there and then brush it aside. You want to come all the way over to the very edge, but not over the edge. Okay. Maybe even a little shy of the edge, because when you press the rosette into it, it may displace a little bit, which a little bit of that is okay because it's part of the effect and the look of it, but you don't want too much. So in there, it's pretty good. It's pretty good the way it's in there. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rosette, which is so pretty, and I'm going to put it in the middle. Now what I need to do is I need to line up this point and this point with the ears or the little loops in this. So I got to be careful when I do this, because once I put it down, it'll be a little bit hard to move it without just pulling it all out and starting over, which I'd rather not do. So, but this takes me looking at it really carefully, making sure I got about the same amount on each side. I'm going to pick it up now. Try not to get my fingernails in there, because I do have fingernails. I just line it up You can see how I've lined it up. And now I'm going to very gently press it so that it comes up through the little petals. And I'm not hanging anything from any of those, little petals or anything, so it doesn't matter if it's, closed up. When I hang through are the loops on the bezel finding. Okay, I'm just pressing down very gently. And the main thing is you want to get it even. It's okay if it comes out around the edge like that, so long as it does it on both sides, or else it'll look like it's off. So that's kind of the fine-tuning part. So look at this from the top. This is high. You want to make sure one end, one part of it is not higher and the other is not crooked or high in a place. If it was going to be high, it should be at the top, but you really would rather it not be high anywhere. Okay, that's pretty good. So then all I do is I take my finger, and what I can do is, I didn't bring any down here with me, of course, but there's a super solvent that is sold to go with epoxy sculpt. It's very inexpensive. It goes a long, long way. Oh, actually, here's some safety solvent, not super solvent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little tiny, this is how I do it. Okay, I got enough. I mean, there's almost none there. You just don't need much. Okay, and I'll put it right on my finger, and I'm just going to go over that so that it will help me smooth out any marks or anything that, I might have in it, because I don't want there to be marks. That looks pretty good. That'll dry real quick, by the way. So this is ready, and all I need to do is let that set up. I would say a day, maybe not even. You could probably start working with it in 8-10 hours. But what I'm going to do then, when I'm done, is I would just simply bring this on to the bottom. Okay, it's like, here it is, and I'll put earring finding up here, bring that part on, and then a little bead, and I'm done. Got earrings. Now here's a variation. If you don't like the idea of putting this on, you don't have to. I like it because it's kind of it carries on this theme, because they go together. They're from the same line of stampings. But if you don't like that, don't do it. Just put the little bead. See how it look with just a little bead. It'll look just fine like that. However you like it, whatever makes you happy, put that on the bottom. Whatever you like. And of course, you could connect a bunch of these up and make them into a bracelet if you wanted. But I have something I like even better for that. So let's move this to the side. And what I have is this finding, which is also stamped brass, silverware, silver plate. We have them at the website, pieceofboutiques.com. And like I say, there's a little trick to getting it good. I'm going to use this one instead. But it's not hard at all. In fact, I'm going to show you the back of this so you can see. It just comes up through the back. Now here's a place where it's a little bit funky. I should have used my safety solvent there and smoothed that out, but I didn't. It's okay. It's handmade, number one, and it's on the back, number two, so we're fine. But anyway, handmade, you have to expect little things like that. That's what makes it special. When it's handmade, you can tell a person put a little bit of heart and soul into it. But anyway, so I've got this, and I need about the same amount that I used for the last one. So I need maybe a little tiny bit more. It has to go through the back. Yeah, I think a little tiny bit more. You have to kind of eyeball it. I'm going to say in this case, maybe the equivalent of 12 millimeter bead, maybe, if you're good with that. So I'm going to put that right in the middle, okay? And then I'm going to start just pressing down carefully till it goes out to the edge. So that, I got to get it over the edge. I won't be able to pick it up if I don't. Just make it go over the edge a little bit and then carefully pick it up so you can see. Don't worry about that. You can see it's come through the back. You want it to come through the back real good. Let me get that out of the way. And then I'm just going to do what I did on the last one, is I'm just going to kind of smush it out to the edges. I see a little flaw here. I'm going to have to fix that. get it out nice at the edges. If you're able to dome it a little bit, that's even better. But you want to get it even, nice and round. So you might have to push it in a little bit here and there. Now I've got this little goober here. I'm going to try and smooth that out, because I don't think that's going to show once I put the rosette on it, but I don't want to risk it. So I'm going to just kind of clear that up the best I can and level it out. And see, I want to also, oh, look at what I did. I just stuck my thumb in it. This is why you really shouldn't have long nails when you do this stuff. I like my nails, but I like my craft more, so probably should just cut them. There's always a fix for it, but why go through it, huh? Okay, I think that'll be pretty good. But anyway, I want to pick this up, and I want to look at the back. Okay, this is good, but I want to mush this out a little bit to the side too, on the back, so it doesn't like dry and then come back through or some kind of thing like that. We don't want that. Yeah, I might have to monkey with it a little bit. And that's part of it, you know, that's part of using epoxy sculpt, is monkeying with a little bit. Okay, that kind of flattened out this side, but that's okay because we're going to press something into it. So I'm just going to kind of push it back, put more of that stuff, safety solvent. I just want to make sure that as I go around the edge, I have equal amount of the, you know, the frame showing. So I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Could be a little bit more perfect, but it's pretty good. As you can see, when I put the rosette on it, it's not going to show much anyway. But once again, you want to get it lined up just right. And don't worry if that's sticking on there. It's going to do it. It's like glue in a way. It's resin glue. Okay, so get my points in just the right place, right centered. Okay, that's a little bit off. Yeah, that's a little bit off. Okay, right in the middle here, right in the middle here, right in the middle's here. I'm just pulling this up toward me so I can give it a quick check. Then I'll press it back out so where you guys can see it. Okay, so now I'm going to press that down so it comes up through the petals. And again, it doesn't matter if it shows out the sides a little bit. Actually, I could have probably used a little bit less epoxy sculpt here. Maybe more like an 8 to 10 millimeter, but I'm never quite sure. The main thing here is we want to make sure the top looks good, not the back. We'll deal with the back later in a minute. Make sure this is nice and sized up and in the right place, because if it's not, it's going to annoy you. You won't like wearing it. See, now it got out of hand over here. I went over too far, so we have to kind of push it back a little bit. Push it back. Get it as even as you can, because you're going to make two more, like you see on this. You're going to make two more, so you want it to all be about the same when you're done with it. Okay, so this isn't looking too bad. I just need to kind of press it out a little bit, make it more even. Here's where my nail comes in handy. Right here. Okay, I'll clean that up when we're done with the video. It won't look like this when it dries. But I just kind of want to show you the main thing right now. And I could also take a swab with safety solvent and get that right off of there too. That's another little trick you can do. So get it mushed out the best you can. In fact, I'm going to show you on one of the other ones what I did, because I took a little more time with them. But this is the main thing in the Western Rose series of things, and I have a bunch of jewelry that I've made in this pattern, so I'll be showing you that next week. Get this off. Okay, I'll catch that a little bit later. But anyway, it's the main thing is nice and even. It's out around the edges very nicely. True, it's not showing a lot of the silver, so if you want that to show the silver, just press it back a little bit. Or you can just leave it that way. It doesn't hurt a thing. The only thing is when you make your other two pieces to go with it, you're going to have to make sure they're all the same, so it looks even. So I'm going to move this one that we worked on over here, and I'm just going to show you how that comes out when you're done. So I let a little bit more of the edge show on this one, as you can see. and the backs are fairly even. They go out a little bit, and that's the way I can make sure that it's not going to, like, epoxy sculpt really doesn't dry out, but just in case, it's kind of made it like a plug, and it's going to stay there nice. So anyway, but you got, whatever you decide to do, it's got to be even. So when I make my other two to go with this one that we just did together, I have to make sure that it goes out to the edges the same way. All looks the same, so it doesn't look wonky. Okay, so then when this all dries up, like 8 to 10 hours before you work, it'd be better if you waited a day, because you can still get like nail marks in it and dings in it. It can be a little soft still, not usually, but it could. Then what all you're going to do is you're just going to hook them together. I used about a 6mm jump here. I like small ones so it doesn't stick up real high. And then I took two Y-style connectors, anything that fits. These are from Beach Super 1928. They're cast metal. It's fine. The old silver goes with silverware really well. The plating's on the old silver, the silverware silver plate, and also the cast zinc. They all go together beautiful, so you can mix and match them as much as you want. Okay, so that makes it kind of nice. So I just hooked them on there, and the ends I did a double jump ring. I don't know if you can see that, but there's 2 jump rings. In fact, on all of it, there's 2 jump rings. The whole thing is double jump ring, and that's just for strength. I like doing that. You don't have to. If you use a little heavier jump, it'll be fine. I like double jump ringing, so I did. Then, of course, I need it to be able to close it, because that's not enough. I mean, you could go ahead and put another 2 on there, and it would go all the way around your wrist, and that's fine. But number one, if you're watching money, it costs more to put those on, because you're going to have 2 more rosettes and 2 more sections. But also, all that people see is what goes across the front of your wrist anyway, and it really makes it more comfortable because you don't have all this stuff on the back of your wrist. And I don't know if any of you are like me, but I have fibromyalgia and other little myalgias, and anything that's moving around right here on the back of my wrist drives me nuts. Just a single piece of chain, I'll probably be fine. So I took about 2 inches of chain, and I used, let's see, where did I put it? This kind. This is our favorite chain at Bisa Boutiques. Everybody loves this. It's bead and link chain and the silver finish. So you need only about an inch, inch and a half, not an inch, yeah, inch and a half, 2 inches, depend. You just tell from your own wrist. I have to be honest with you, when I made this, I had to take it off and adjust it a couple times to get to fit my wrist right. But a standard measurement that you might want, say you sell at fairs or on Etsy or whatever, is to do 7 inches. And then you can always add an extender if you want. So, you know, just aim for 7 inches. If you're making for yourself, you need more room. You know how much room you make. This will just be apprised of that and do that. Use a little bit more, just adjust as you go. So then there's a lobster and a clasp, you know, to hang on the other end, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Very simple project. You could make the bracelet and the earrings probably in under an hour. And it just looks so great when it's done, because people wonder what that red stuff is because it's different. You really can't do that with polymer clay. Polymer clay will not adhere. Epoxy sculpt is a resin clay, and resin is glue. Bottom line, it's glue. So you can use it to stick a lot of things to a lot of things. I could push this rosette right down in here, and the epoxy sculpt will hold it. If I use nice even pressure, it will hold it. Polymer clay will hold it temporarily, and then it will pop out. You almost have to put it in, make the impression, bake your clay, go back and glue it in. You know, or I guess some people will use a liquid Sculpey in there as a glue and put it in that way. You know, whatever works for you, but I would use epoxy sculpt, and we have it at the site. We have it in a number of colors. You don't have to use red. We have blue, which is also beautiful. We have yellow, we have green, and we also have black and white too. And we also have some new kits where you can blend colors. You'll be able to see them at the website. So anyway, I wanted to share this much with you today of the Western Rose. I hope you'll try it. It's really, really fun. Maybe you already have things in your collection of bits and pieces and parts that you could use for this. Maybe it gives you ideas for something else. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Just go for it. Try it. Give it a shot. You're going to love it. So thanks a lot for tuning in today. And if you don't mind, you could leave me a like. You could subscribe to the channel. Or you could leave me a kind comment. Any of those three things would be very much appreciated. So you have a good day, and we'll catch you next time.